Hi, everybody out there in Facebook world and YouTube world and all the platforms that I get on. I should list them, I guess, sometimes for people, Spotify, Rumble, all these other places. But I am trying to do my best in hanging on, enlightening people to the truth here on A Strange Reality with Dave Emmons. And I'm trying to get, the guests to come on here and talk to everybody out there about, I guess, consciousness and enlightenment. And I have a guest pretty soon. I'm going to introduce her. That's been on my show before, and she's a great person, a great author. 30 plus books, and she talks about a lot of topics. And the topic we're going to be talking about is going to be predictions, reptilians, LaCerta, and things like that. I think it's LaCerta. She'll correct
That's
me when I
correct.
get
Yeah.
get back into it. And we're going to talk about her mystic prophecy, Revelations to Awaken Humanity, her paperback book. But I want to introduce her, I guess, classically, like I usually do here on the Strange Reality. I try to get people's credentials and their backgrounds in so people know where they're coming from, because all the guests that I have either have experiences or they've been studying or they've been researching, and they have some things to talk about. And I want to get the truth out there, because the truth, as we know it, is not true. History is not true. ETs are real, very real. I know that from my own personal experiences. People might know me, but it's they're very scary, but not scary for me inside of fear, but like, which direction should I go? I was just talking to my guest, and which is Betsey Lewis,
Mhm.
talking to her about which direction should I go. Are they trying to stop me? I had a couple of angel encounters. A tall guy, 6'2", 6'3", a very handsome guy. If I was a woman, I probably would have thought, well, he's hitting on me. But I was a guy, and I think it was just an angel visitation. Or Betsey Lewis has other theories, and we'll talk to her about that. Here on The Strange Reality, I have return guest Betsey Lewis. She has authored 30 plus Amazon paranormal books, three children's books, and is a world renowned clairvoyant, radio host, astrologer, and Earth Mysteries investigator. She is considered one of the more gifted psychics in the world and has correctly predicted major world events. And we're going to get into predictions. 6 months before Donald Trump was elected president in 2016, she correctly predicted Trump's win on Newsmax's website. Her powerful vision by God proved to be correct. In late 2023, Betsy predicted in her Amazon book, The Galactic Knowing, that Donald Trump would be president nominee in 2024 and he would go on to win the election. On November 3, 2024, she published Prophecy and predicted why Donald Trump would be elected the 47th president of the United States. Would he be the 48th also, Betsy?
No, he'd like to be.
Oh, that,
It
this is
won't
just
happen.
that was just for entertainment purposes. I don't want to get
Yeah,
people all riled up,
no,
especially certain people. I
certain
don't want to.
people,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I don't want to get them riled up about that. But Donald Trump would be elected 47th president of the United States, and why Kamala Harris would never win, and their destiny was in the stars. She says she's selling her book, Mystic Prophecy and Abducted, and she's on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Facebook. And Betsy Lewis, to start off with, like we're talking about prophecies and stuff, we wanted to talk about. Is Kamala Harris going anywhere?
No,
She's
in her
done.
dreams.
Okay,
No, she's done. She's
she's
a
done.
has-been.
Okay, we'll put that's a prediction. Okay, uh,
Okay.
who? Okay, who's going to be the next president? You think, Betsy?
Well, I put down several people that could be. I mean, it's really too soon to know, but JD Vance,
Yeah,
we've got Rubio maybe.
yeah.
Let's see who else. Maybe even Hegseth, Pete Hegseth. And who else? I was trying to think of all the different people I put down.
I,
But
I, I like I like Marco Rubio. He's a
I
nice
do
guy.
too.
He's intelligent, and you know
Yeah.
what? He's one of the poorest, I guess politicians.
Hmm.
He doesn't take any money off the side. He lives in a average income home, average
Yeah.
neighborhood, and
I like
he's
him too.
yeah, and you can tell that's an honest politician.
Hmm.
Or you have somebody else that they started off about $40,000 one year, 2 years later, they're worth 34 million. Now,
Sure.
I ain't going to mention names, but that's going on too a lot within
Oh,
just a
sure.
couple of years.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, Betsy Lewis, tell us a little bit about yourself that I might have skipped out on, and also tell us what you're up to today and what your plans are.
Okay. Well, since childhood, I've been into UFOs. Of course, they were called flying saucers back then, but my mom and I believed in it, and we were always looking for things. We were using mental telepathy with each other. I used to have dreams that came true, which I still do. I was able to levitate things for a little while when I was younger, which is pretty strange.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, I did a lot of experiments with my mom. We could talk to each other, telepathy, and and of course, I've had some incidents when I believe I was abducted, like 7 months old, when my parents were on a highway up in northern Idaho late at night and
Uh-huh.
lost 2 hours of time. And I've had some other things. So, yeah, I've always believed, and I think I've been one of the abductees. Maybe I was a reptilian in a past life. I don't know. But I feel that I felt when I was really young that I didn't belong in this body. And maybe that's a past life thing. But I always felt strange and just like I didn't belong here. And I know a lot of people feel that way,
Yeah.
that maybe they're from another place, another planet.
Well,
Do you feel that way?
that's what my wife
Yeah.
tells me all the time.
You're from another planet.
Because I
She's
think
from
differently. But no,
she's from Venus, you're from Mars, right?
yeah, yeah. She says I have a third eye, and with all the experiences I've had, and even lately, I told you about the tall guy, 6'2",
Right.
a good looking guy, well dressed for the winter. It was cold, of course, here in Illinois. But
Mhm.
we you were saying that there's a possibility that this guy could have been a reptilian. Betsy, could you tell us
Yes.
why you feel that way?
Well, I came across the LaCerta files, a book that's out there. And I guess this information has been out there since 1999, December of 1999 and 2000. A man named Olle K in Sweden heard about this reptilian humanoid woman, and she called herself LaCerta. That's not a real name. I guess it's impossible for humans to pronounce. But she spent 3 hours telling him about their race and how they evolved from the reptilian dinosaur species on Earth, and about the great big cataclysmic event that happened 65 million years ago,
Hmm.
and how their species, some of them died off during that event. She claimed it was from two warring ET groups that caused the cataclysmic event. And it was put radiation and iridium in the whole atmosphere and killed off most of the dinosaurs, but still some existed. And their species existed, but they weren't evolved yet. And evolution takes millions of years.
Hmm.
And finally, they became a very advanced species. And they've traveled into outer space now. They have lived underground for millions of years. They have places throughout the world that they exist, and that's why people have seen them. But they're native to Earth, and they feel that we're the ones that really don't belong here.
Hmm.
When we evolved very slowly at first until the ETs came. There was a certain species of ETs that decided to evolve us very quickly because they wanted slaves. And they took the apes that were here and started evolving them. That's why there's so many starts and stops with evolution. I've always believed that that wasn't the true story about how we evolved. And we didn't arrive as Homo sapiens about 300,000 years ago. So
Hmm.
things have
Yeah.
really changed. But the reason I believe the things she said were just incredible because I don't see how anyone could make up this information. She tells about how they live. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll just read a little bit here. Well, this is about us. She said 10 million years ago, small monkeys began to grow larger and descend from the trees, once again due to a climatic shift, particularly on your continent you call Africa. However, their evolution was slow, which is typical for mammals. If nothing extraordinary had happened to your species, we wouldn't be sitting here talking. I would be in a comfortable modern home, and you would be in a cave wearing animal skins and trying to discover the secret of fire, which is
Yeah.
true. You
Well,
know, we are apes, and
yeah.
I guess they gave us a soul, and what we think of as a soul isn't really what what it really is. A soul is they made it so that we are controlled easily, and boy, are we. Just look at
Yes.
what's going on
Yes.
in the
Yes.
world
We
right
are
now.
controlled. Yes.
We are controlled apes. We really are. And I think until people realize what's going on, I don't see things getting better. I mean, we basically devolving.
Yeah. You said soul, but then you stopped short of saying exactly what it is. Did
Well,
the
I
rep
think
did the
there's a
reptilians put that in, or was that
yes. Yeah, well,
how
yes,
about
they did.
the divine source, the creator?
Well, I think consciousness and soul are two different things. I think things have souls, but what they did to the soul to manipulate us is that, that's how we're controlled, and we're still controlled.
Hmm.
I think certain elites out there, human elites, know that we can be controlled very easily. And look what's going on with kids and, with the internet,
Yeah.
how people are controlled right now. And
Hmm.
it's going on worldwide.
Right.
It's been going on for probably thousands and thousands of years, and we still don't get it. She said that nothing is set in stone. The future is not set in stone. And so, everything that we do, we can change. Even though that, we were controlled at one time. If we wake up, she said, then things will change. I mean, but how many people are going to believe that there's a reptilian species underground? Would you believe that? That they've
Yeah.
existed for millions of years
I do,
and
because my last book a year ago, and I got a promotion on it. Now it's I got a promo going, and because I lost time in marketing, because of some scammer publishers, and we got to warn people out there writing books:
oh, I know.
be careful who you deal with, because they'll charge you money and then they won't do the
Oh,
work. It takes forever for them to get the work done, and then you
I
got to
know.
and do it by the credit card so you can dispute it and pull your money back. You'll lose time, but you won't lose money. Just advice for
I
people out there.
know.
But
I know.
how they control us? They control us. Do they control our soul? I heard our soul can't be
Yeah.
touched, Betsy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, according to LaCerta, she says our soul can be, manipulated and controlled. She said that her species, as a humanoid reptilian, has never interfered. They're more, just benign with humans. But if they start seeing that we're going to try and destroy the earth with the nuclear weapons, they're going to step in. They have a council and they decide, if they're going to step in. And I guess they've been communicating with certain people, humans, maybe, military, I don't know, maybe the president, who knows?
Yeah.
But, when they would rather not step in. But if they feel that things are not going right, and this is one thing that she said, which I think is really interesting. I'll read it real quick. I don't want to be reading everything here, but she says, I find you fascinating, complex, and full of contradictions. You are capable of both the worst and the best. Your potential is immense, but it is constantly sabotaged by fear, ignorance, and greed. You are like children abandoned in a technological jungle. You do not understand. Yet some of you are beginning to see clearly, to ask the right questions. They are the ones who may change your destiny, she said.
Mhm.
And she said, the way things look now, things aren't good for us right now, the way we're headed.
Do
She
they,
says, we've got to wake up.
yeah, do they hybrid with us humans, or do they procreate themselves?
Well, she said that at a point in their evolution, they learned how to control genetics and they made themselves more humanoid. Now, I don't know what that entails. She didn't go into specifics, but she said that they are more human, but still they have a lot of the reptilian. They stand on 2 feet. They're bipedal. They have fingers like we do. She described herself totally how they look. They have kind of scales around their eyes and around their forehead. They have longer noses. They have lips like we do. Pretty much anatomically, they're the same as we are. But the one thing they have is many psychic gifts. And they can walk around anywhere among us
Mhm.
and they can make us they know how to manipulate our minds so that we don't see a reptilian, we see more of a human,
Right.
so they can make themselves look that way
Mhm.
and you still think that you're looking at a human or talking to a human.
Right. I I've had some video, and this was taken back in 2020, somewhere around there. I have
Hmm.
video of one of these reptilians looking into my trail camera that I had
Oh,
set up in the house, because I
really?
knew, yeah, I knew they were here the night before because all my motion sensors were going off in the house. And so I thought, okay, these motion sensors work. So
Wow.
I put my cameras out, and the next night I got this reptilian looking into the camera. I can see his,
Oh my gosh.
gray green skin with bumps on it.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, that's
they
them.
have bumps, yeah,
Hmm.
and had eyes kind of similar to ours in a way.
Yes,
And I saw the eye
except for
going
the
up.
slits, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Hmm.
I've had that film video out on Reels. I've had it on Facebook, and a lot of people saw it and they couldn't figure it out. Well, I still to this day can't. But to me, when I saw it, and I had a MUFON investigator take a good look at it, and he said it was a reptilian. I didn't know it was a reptilian until he told me, and I said, "Oh my god," because it's so
Yeah,
close in the camera. But yes, I think I've had some run-ins with reptilians, and
it sounds like it.
this tall, good-looking guy that's kind of come to our rescue twice
It
in the past
might have been.
3 weeks could have been a
Mhm.
reptilian. Who
It
knows?
could have been.
And we need to enlighten people about this. And you said that they don't use this as like hybriding
No,
or
I don't
making.
think so. She said that there are many reptilian species that have come to Earth, and some of them are still here and living underground too,
Mhm.
under our deepest ocean. She said there's so many ETs living on Earth right now.
Yes, there is.
Yeah,
And
all over.
the
And that's why
government.
we're seeing all these things, these
Yeah,
orbs, these flying saucers, different ones.
yeah,
She described the ones that they have, which are more of the cylinder type UFOs. And she described, some of their emblems on there and so uh, the things that she described are just beyond how anybody could make this story up. And it's been around since 1999 and 2000 when she met with this man in Sweden and talked to him for 3 hours. There were a lot of things that she asked him not to divulge. And maybe at some point it will be divulged, but I believe it.
okay.
And what
Are
she
there,
said,
yeah, are there bad reptilians, Betsy, like
oh, sure.
the ones who
Oh,
eat us? They have us for
oh
lunch.
no, I don't think
No,
they eat us. I think
no.
they'd be poisoned if they did.
Yeah, that's why they pick children, I guess,
Yeah,
just for entertainment purposes only. That's why they
yeah.
probably, because they're not toxic and they don't have all the toxins like us
I think,
adults have. Uh,
yeah, there's malevolent ones that have an agenda for Earth. And I think that, there are hybrids being made, and probably the same thing to control us. That's what's been going on for so long with some of these ETs, and they like Earth. I guess they're taking a lot of our minerals
yeah,
and using them. Copper is supposed to be really important to them.
yeah. What about are there human ETs walking amongst us, like Dr. David Jacobs said, Betsy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think I had a run in with one in 2010 in
I think
Sedona.
so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think I've got a child by her,
Hmm.
a hybrid child. There
Hmm.
wasn't any romantic relationship. It was just I guess, a tube to the groin area. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've seen this young girl 6 times this past year, and
Mm.
kind of she shows up in weird places, and she looks just like the woman I met in 2010, and
Yeah.
she's Japanese, Asian,
Hmm.
and she looks like her because I saw her close up, and she rode a bicycle with a bike pack right by me, and I told the wife, I said, "You saw her, didn't you?" She goes, "I wasn't paying any attention. I think she's scared. She just doesn't
Yeah.
want to be, but did see her a couple of times when we
Hmm.
saw her together. But I thought maybe that she's following me, that she's probably part of my hybrid race that happened
Could be.
15 years ago, whatever. And that's why I'm thinking, if they're humans, could she also be shape shifting, Betsy, the one that I ran
Oh,
into?
yeah. Oh, I think there's a lot of shape shifting going on out
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's a
Uh,
lot of shaking and baking going on in this country, that's for sure.
I
But
think so
yeah,
too.
uh, uh,
One thing that LaCerta said, which is really interesting, and I've always believed this, she said that we don't understand what God is. And I've always believed that. People think of God as some anthropomorphic being, but God is an energy, she
right,
said. We just don't understand. And
right,
and so, we've for some reason we've just had everything wrong about religion, which was some of the stuff that is in the Bible is actually part of the ETs that came here. Who do you think the serpent was when Adam and
hmm,
Eve?
right,
That was a reptilian. But throughout history and ancient civilizations, when I wrote my book, Ancient Serpent Gods, in 2016, I really did a lot of research on reptilians. And I had this theory that, some of the reptilians, the dinosaurs, didn't all die off like we've been told, 65 million years ago with that cataclysmic event, that some of them survived and actually evolved into a superior being. And she tells how that happened and how her species, there were many still that survived, but I guess they went to war with each other and somehow finally they merged into one reptilian being, intraterrestrial being, and how they live underground. They have their own type of solar, not like a sun, but that's how they need the warmth and they love the sun. They'll come out and sun themselves like reptiles
yeah.
that they are. But I found all that interesting. She talked about multidimensional worlds. She called them bubbles, and a lot of these ETs come from these bubbles. And she said it's not a parallel world, but she said it's like that. I guess that's how she was kind of explaining it. So
Sounds like
think of
sounds
that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of knowledge there. I know the government has admitted to
Uh-huh.
bases, UFO bases, ET bases under the sea, and they admit that they're probably under the ground. And of
Yeah.
course, we have them at our military bases, and they're working with our military.
Yeah.
I have to say that,
I think so.
yeah. So they're, to the certain extent, they do have technology, from
Hmm.
them. The other thing is that I think that the ETs do have fights out there. I guess, some battles out, in around in our in our
Well,
galaxy somewhere.
we've seen that. Haven't you seen some of those things taken by the ISS in
Yeah,
space that they
mhm,
captured?
yeah,
Laser, like
mm,
hitting
yeah,
different
yeah.
other UFOs. Yeah, out there. Sure, they're battling out there,
So maybe they're trying to keep the bad ones away from us.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. I hope they're the good ones, Betsy.
Yeah, let's
Uh,
hope so.
so what could we expect? In it like this? I know you want to get into predictions, but what could you could expect with this reptilian race being here and other ETs coming here, like Three Eye Atlas? Uh, it's just like, what was that? Was that a probe? And
I
then
think it
now,
was.
yeah, and
Yeah. I really believe it was. It was too unusual, and the things that it was doing just didn't make sense for a comet.
Right,
It wasn't a comet.
right.
No, and we're going to have more visitors. She said a lot of visitors have been here to Earth, and the ones that created us haven't been back. She said eventually they might come back.
Really?
Maybe they,
Who could that be, Betsy? The one who
well,
created
she
us?
called them the Elohim, and
Elohim.
that's kind of
Okay.
like the Anunnaki. I think she
Yeah.
was talking about the Anunnaki. Yeah,
And they didn't have anything to do with our DNA manipulation, these
they did.
reptilians.
They did. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did manipulate us. Yeah, or we'd still be in trees right now. And I think a lot of people act like, genetically manipulated idiot monkeys out there, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. I wish all this would stop. I don't know what's going to take to stop this craziness. We need peace, and I understand that a lot of people saying scientists are saying, why would ETs come down here and join us and help us out when we act like a bunch of crazy fools? Betsy,
We do.
is that what you think you're thinking
Yeah,
too?
I think so. Yeah. And like I said, they're here for our minerals, our rare earth, I can't even say it. Rare earth minerals. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, China's supposed to have a lot of those. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, now let's get to. I guess you wanted to talk about predictions.
Yes.
What do you predict that's going to happen to us with all this chaos going on right now? How are we going to settle it, and when will this all come to an end? When can we expect peace on this world, Betsy?
Well, like LaCerta said, and what I've felt is that it may take some cataclysmic event to stop us from doing all this, to wake up and see that we're all connected. And she said that too. We are all connected to the God energy. And so we have to realize that we're not separated, we're not divided like everybody wants us to be. The Democrats, the Republicans, if you're black, you're white, we're all separated right now, divided. And maybe we need this big wake-up call because nobody wants to change. I
No,
don't see it. It worries me.
what about they talk about these 12 families, 13 families that rule the planet, and they say they have reptilian
Yeah,
connections. Do they have reptilian connections, Betsy, the 12?
maybe they do. Yeah, yeah. Of course, David Icke talked about it, right? With all
Mhm.
his books and everything. There could be something to it. And I know a lot of people think that he's a little crazy, but I think he might be onto something. I think it
Yeah.
might be true.
I think all of us who do this type of thing with ETs and UFOs, there's going to be half of the people who think we're crazy, and the other half will accept
That's
what we're saying.
I know.
That's
Because of
why.
religious things, they always pull out the religious
Yeah,
card. Oh, it's a demon. The demon thing, the the devil thing. I don't know. It's so silly. And the devil doesn't exist. I'm sorry to tell you, everybody.
yeah.
I
I
think maybe ETs were probably the reptilians were the devils because they lived underground. Where do you think they got all that?
yeah.
Ancient, you know,
I know I used to be a
man.
study churchgoer and baptized
Hmm.
in Catholicism and all this other stuff, and I I've gotten away from that because I thought
Hmm.
there's something bigger than that that's going on. We
Well,
just we
yeah,
just we just
you're
can't
right.
condense God and put him in a little box and say that's God.
No,
We're diminishing, like you said, he is or she could be he she or both, and it's it the energy. It's what it is.
it
That's
is
what God
energy,
is all.
pure energy. Yeah.
And okay, what happens now? You talk about the reptilians having control of us, and they have control of our soul. I heard that they couldn't have control of the soul, but where do we go, Betsy, after we pass away? Was there any talk about that from the reptilian source?
She didn't say anything. She said we reincarnate. And you could be an alien. You could come back as the ET next time. We've all been there. Human ETs, it's doesn't matter. Man, woman, we come back as many things to men we learn. That's how we learn our lessons in life and spirituality and how we grow and evolve spiritually.
Yeah,
That's the only way we can do it.
yeah.
And
So
and even she is. She sounded, she's made it sound like she's a little miffed at us because we're on top of the the planet and they're still underground and they think they should be on top because they were the original beings that, you know, were here and we came so much later.
Yeah. Uh, are they living under Antarctica? That's been a big deal
She
here
said that's
lately.
one of the places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Linda Moulton Hall. I don't know what's wrong with her, but she said that something. I guess she has to get out before she dies. I don't know if she's sick or what. I haven't heard anything about her, but
Really. She's getting
yeah,
up there in
yeah,
age.
yeah. She's
Yeah.
in her early 80s.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, I've talked to her several
yeah.
times, and I've had some association with her with with ETs and stuff, and given her information. We'd exchange information.
Hmm.
I got her cell phone number, but I don't call her for just any reason. I call her if I have something that
Oh,
I
that's
need to tell her
nice.
about. Yeah,
Well, that's nice she talks to you. Yeah.
yeah. And
Oh, that's really
matter of
cool.
fact, it was a couple of years ago. I was at my mom's house. My brothers were sitting there. We was visiting my mom, and she called me on the phone.
Hmm.
And my brother looked at me. He says, "Is that Linda Hall?" I said, "Yeah, it's Linda Hall." And we were talking about, she asked
Yeah.
me about if I saw numbers, and whenever I was abducted or anytime that I close my eyes, do I see numbers? I said, "Oh yeah, I do. I think a lot of people do, but I'm not sure what she was getting at that point." But she,
Binary things,
yeah,
binary code.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
she was getting to that point, but my brother was having a conniption fit. He said, "That's Linda. Oh my God, she's calling you." I said,
I
"Yeah,
know.
I
Yeah.
know." She's been nice to me, but
Oh,
uh,
good.
I
Well,
just
so many of these people, we've lost so many people, Jim Mars
yeah,
and so many of them, they're getting up there in age and, if we're the next generation
yeah,
to get it
yeah,
out there.
yeah. I got to get it out there in a
Yeah.
hurry, Betsy.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm getting
uh,
up there,
yeah,
Dave.
but it's life is kind of, I guess, we have to accept it as it comes, or can we make changes that'll make life changes, enlightenment or consciousness,
Yes.
Betsy?
And she
We,
said it's up to us. Like she said, the future isn't fixed and we can change things. Um, you know, Oli K asked her, he asked her what he she foresees for the future, and she said that um, it's not her decision to make. She said, we have a high council that governs our contact with the surface world. There are internal debates. Some believe we should intervene and help you regain mental and energetic autonomy. Others think you should walk your own path, even if that path leads to self-destruction.
yeah.
There are also old agreements between non-human groups and certain human elites. We must respect those balances, even if we disagree with them. If we are to advance mentally and spiritually, or we will or we will perish as a species. She speaks of multiple timelines of invisible decisions shaping our path and the possibility of evolution and collapse. She said that free will does exist. So, it's up to us
What
to
about
wake up.
yeah? Oh, your screen is frozen a little bit, so but we're still
Oh, is
hearing
it?
you. Yeah, we're still hearing you. Uh, I
Is it
think that's
okay
been
now?
no, you're still frozen video wise, but I can still hear you. We've had that problem with I think with
You are
Wi-Fi.
too.
Yeah, am I frozen? Okay. No, now you're okay. You're
Oh,
okay. It's just
you were for
temporary.
a minute.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
good.
happens.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is not dependable
I am
anymore.
frozen.
But no, we're
What was
getting
your
to.
what was your question?
Oh, I was talking about destiny, and you were talking that, and I was going to ask you uh, about the Matrix. Are we a quantum theory type thing? Entanglement and quantum entanglement and a matrix. Did they ever say anything about
I
that?
think so.
No.
I think so. Now, she didn't really talk about that, but I think we live in a holographic universe. It's a matrix. And I think we create a lot of this, that we are the creators. We are co-creators with God, the energy of God. So just think of all the things, we just don't know. what we can do with our brains and with our energy. And that's what they've learned. We could do the same thing they do, make themselves invisible, you know, make people think that you're something else you're not, shapeshift. I mean, those things are, and she was able to lift things. She showed Ole K that she can telekinesis, lift things, and do all kinds. He witnessed all that when she was there. So we can do that too. We just forgotten all this. It's there.
Okay, so when we see shadow people, a lot of people have seen them in their houses and on the street even. Are these
Mhm.
invisible ETs like reptilians, Betsy, that's walking around our house and inside our
You
houses?
know, that's a good question. There's so many types of invisible beings that LaCerta talked about. There's just so many things out there. And and some of them are not good. They're dark beings. Some of them watch over us. She said that there are, species that are watching over us right now and trying to help us. Um, so we've got the help. We
Yeah.
just have to realize who we are. People just don't want to learn, though. They just don't want to open their eyes. And
How does one become enlightened, Betsy, in your thoughts and your terminology? How does one? I know what I think that enlightenment means is putting the truth out there for people to take in and and
Mhm.
and try to figure it out for themselves and know that
Right,
we're not in the world we think we are. Is
right.
that your idea too, Betsy?
Well, I think so. And I think the meditation, if you do meditation and just allow the energy of the universe to come through. We're so involved with the stupid social media stuff and
Oh,
internet
yeah,
and everything, and nobody knows about the or outdoors anymore. Nobody goes outside anymore to be
yeah,
with nature. I mean, that's a part of God. And I tried to tell a relative of mine that. She says, "Oh, how can you love the outdoors and compared to God?" And I said, I didn't. It's all part of God. God
yes,
made all these things.
right,
So what are you talking about?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the ancient people
how
used to
ignorant.
know how they used to know that better than us. Like take
Yeah.
the American
Hmm.
Native Indians. You
Right.
know, they
Right.
appreciated the outdoors. They when they killed an animal, they prayed over it
They
and they
did.
didn't waste anything. They didn't kill for nothing,
Hmm.
or they didn't tear down a lot of trees. They just had their tents and things of that nature. They're nomads, but I don't think I want to live like that. But I think humans can do a little bit better than what we're doing now.
No, I
And
agree.
a
You're
lot of
so
people
right.
and a lot of people are wanting free stuff, and
Hmm.
and that free stuff is coming from somebody somewhere somehow,
Hmm.
and that's what we're living in that
Yeah.
that type of climate, Betsy, that we're going into. The Let's talk about this mystic prophecy, revelations to awaken humanity. Betsy's mystic prophecy will take you on an extraordinary journey to humanity's origins, DNA altering, and advanced terrestrial species. We talked about that. This book will awaken humanity to their origins. And let's talk about origins. Origins, uh, like where did we did come from? Like you said, the reptilians, and there's another ET race who made us.
Yes.
Could you
Yes.
tell us how long
Well,
ago was
that's
that, Betsy, and how does that parallel with the Bible?
well, some things of the Bible. I've never taken the Bible, completely serious. I think it was rewritten so many times that I think the original version has not been translated correctly. If you look at the different, um, what is the other one? The Jewish book. The
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Septuagint.
tells more about the ETs. But in Ezekiel, it describes what
We
sounds
will
like
do
an
again.
ET in
Right.
some futuristic spaceship, what they described. And of course, when these ETs came here, and even for Lacerda's group, they were idolized as gods. And
Yeah.
that's why all these statues of reptilians all over the world, I mean, you can find it everywhere.
Yeah. Ancient
They,
Egypt. Yeah.
yes, Egypt too. Yeah,
Yeah.
India, everywhere. So
And
yeah, they exist.
as we read on here, DNA many times to create Homo sapiens, modern humans. Learn about the reptilian humanoid woman, LaCerta. We're talking about that. And then talk about the guy in Sweden. And they live deep underground. We mentioned that. And she revealed the shock that about humanity being genetically altered and controlled for thousands of years. And it's just not by our 12 family elites or the elites in our society, but it's also the reptilians and the ETs that are
Mhm.
controlling us. And do they work in our government, Betsy? The reptilians?
Oh, I bet they do. I bet they do. I've always thought that. Don't you?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of.
Mm,
I've seen a lot of them that remind me of animals.
look like reptilians. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
think so too. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
and the and discovery of President Trump's destiny. Now that book from this Lockwood author back in 1890, he wrote about Baron Trump's greatest adventures.
Hmm.
And I think maybe he saw in the time, and they're saying that Trump is that he knows about time travel, and because of his uncle or something was there with Tesla when they went into the Tesla's apartment,
Oh, right,
they took
right.
away all that stuff, and
That's
so
right.
yeah, his uncle was involved in that. They say that Trump and even Barron, they seem like they're time travelers, and he knows what's going to happen before it happens, and that's why he makes some of the decisions or delayed decisions. Right now, I'm not too happy with some of his decisions
No,
going
I'm
on.
not either.
I think he should move a little bit better than what he's
Yeah.
doing. He's paying a lot of attention to the foreign governments and the wars overseas, but our country within is
Hmm.
tearing ourselves apart.
Oh, I know. You know, the Chinese have infiltrated our country now.
Yeah.
That laboratory that was found in LA that
Yes.
had all these dangerous, Ebola type diseases and everything they were working with. They're probably planning some big terrorist, biological event. And, we've got Chinese that are coming in here. I'm not saying all the Chinese are bad, but a lot of them are here to, take away things from us
Yeah.
and change our world. They want
Right.
to
Well,
control us
we
too.
also got immigrants that want to change
Yeah.
our world, and they want to
Yes.
change it to their world. Now,
Hmm.
when you're a guest in a house, if I was a guest in your house, I'd pay attention to everything you told me. Don't move that. Don't go over there. Don't go in
Right.
that room. I wouldn't do it. When you're a guest in somebody's house, and that's what I see a lot of these immigrants.
Hmm.
If they want to mix in with us, and be one of us, then great. But don't try to come in here and recreate your own government that didn't work.
Yeah,
A lot of
right.
these governments that these people come,
No.
they did not work. The
Yeah.
socialism does not work, but nobody's getting that through their head. So, uh,
They
President
need to
Trump,
go over there and live someplace that's a socialist
yeah,
country for a
yeah,
while
yeah,
or
they
run by a
do
dictator.
right.
They'll change their minds. They have no idea. They're so ignorant. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I just wonder what the ETs think about us fighting like this. That's why I said earlier to you pre-show that I think that the reason why they won't come down here because we're fighting like a bunch of animals, and that's
We
why they're not
are. We
coming out
are
in the open.
animals,
Yeah,
Dave.
we
We're
are.
monkeys.
Yeah.
We're chimpanzees,
uh, uh,
genetically controlled,
yeah.
altered
You meant
monkeys.
yeah. You said how strong earthquake will shake the East Coast, New York City's Mayor
Yeah.
Mondani's debacle. Now, what do you think there's going to be a strong earthquake
I
coming up?
do. I
And
think it's going to be about five. I think it's going to be about five. But if an earthquake of five hits New York, they're just barely above sea level there.
yeah,
And these buildings are old, and any major shaking there is going to bring these buildings down. A lot of people would die for just things falling, these buildings,
and you're saying that Mayor Mondani, Momdani, I guess, say it different ways, but you're saying that he doesn't have enough knowledge to run a city in
No,
chaos.
there's garbage all over.
Yeah,
I mean, there's people dying in the streets.
yeah,
He has no experience, and why people believe him that he's going to give everything to them for free. I mean, how can you do that? You
yeah,
can't.
yeah. Free bus
If
rides. Somebody's got to pay for it.
yeah,
Even the mayor,
yeah,
she's a Democrat too, but even she tells Mondami that we're not going to give you free stuff,
yeah,
from the state. The state's not
yeah,
going to pay for this. So
yeah.
that's one thing. But that's why the ETs don't want to get close to us, and that's why enlightenment is kind of at a distance. I'd say right now with all this
I think
craziness.
so. I
And
think so too, Dave.
you said UFO and ET disclosure in 2026, 2027 about the
Yes.
Pope and the Kirk effect. Could you tell us about that,
Well, I
Betsy?
think what happened with Charlie Kirk dying so suddenly, and all these people are rushing for this religion, and it's again, it's kind of a control thing, There's nothing about having spirituality, but I'm against religions because it's so controlled.
Yeah,
And how they control people, certain religions, women aren't treated as first class people.
right, right.
I won't say what religions, but
Yeah,
but there are, and still, religion has caused so many wars in this country and around the world for thousands of years. I mean, look at us, what's good about religion?
yeah. Well,
You know,
what about the Pope? What kind of a does what role does he? I heard there's three popes. There's a gray pope, a black pope, and a regular pope who's out in front of the public. What does the Pope play in all this role of the elites and the leading families of the world, Betsy?
well, I've read things about him that he has not done anything about these pedophile priests. And that really angers me that the last pope didn't do anything either. They know about him. So many of them out there are pedophiles. And the people, the children that have been hurt, and probably afraid to come forward. But it's still going on. And, the church just hides behind that. And I just, I don't know.
Yeah,
Where's the spirituality in
yeah,
that?
yeah.
What?
I think religion draws red lines. It really
Hmm.
does.
It
And then if
does.
one religion crosses it, then you're in trouble. I
Right.
think the only religion that hasn't really been warlike when things happen are the Christians. So I have to give them that much credit. I think the
Hmm.
other religions may fight for their right to exist over other religions.
Hmm.
But you mentioned here the Pope, of course, and the UFOs and disclosure in 2026, 27.
I think
You
so.
think it's going to happen, Betsy?
I think there's going to be something that happens with ETs. Some kind of disclosure, some event that happens. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I wish I could tell you, but something's going to happen to waken us that they are real. And what makes me mad, the Pentagon,
Yeah,
idiots, they think we're so stupid. At first they said, oh, yeah, it looks like it could be some kind of, species or something controlling these different devices, these spaceships and orbs and TikToks or Tic Tacs and and now they say no, it's impossible. It's
yeah.
it's not ET controlled or.
Yeah, we
And
went.
and they know. Of
Yeah,
course they
sure.
know.
They're watching us all the time, and
Yeah.
they've been watching me, and I don't know why. I mean, gee whiz, let up, kind of let up on me a little bit. I'm getting
Yeah,
to the point where I'm thinking, should I stop or what? But a lot of people like yourself say, don't stop. But I'm
that's
thinking
right.
about, it's I've got to find some into this because I don't know
Hmm.
what they're trying to tell me, why they're coming and they're visiting me and things, even to this as old as I am now. Uh, but you talk about in your book, you talk about bases in Malibu, ET base, and
Yes.
what does that do? You said major earthquakes, the Malibu ET base. Uh, do the ETs create earthquakes, Betsy? Do they control weather?
I think they can. I think they're advanced enough that they can create weather and earthquakes. A lot of UFOs and orbs have been seen coming out of volcanoes and entering volcanoes. So I don't know if they're getting energy from those volcanoes or what they're doing, but they seem to be able to harness things. And who knows, maybe they've been responsible for a lot of these earthquakes that happen in certain areas. And I notice right now that a lot of earthquakes are hitting, in areas that are having big issues with, like Iran
Hmm.
recently had an earthquake, and um, other places like that. China has had a big earthquake recently, and Russia, and so
So,
yeah, maybe they are controlling a lot of this.
and you're predicting an earthquake for the East Coast.
New
We've had
York.
some small ones like threes and whatever inland, not
Hmm.
necessarily towards the coast. But you're also saying in your prophecy, you talk about the Spielberg's new movie,
Disclosure
2026.
Day.
Is that a pretty good movie? You think that you could
Well,
tell people to
I don't
go look
know.
at, Betsy?
It's coming out this summer. I saw the
Yeah,
trailer. I don't know if you saw the trailer,
yeah, I did.
but I think it's about ETs inhabiting the Earth's animals because it kind of looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah,
Did you
right.
get
And
that feeling?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a lot about consciousness, ET
Yeah.
consciousness in the
Hmm.
in the movie, I think. And
Yeah.
Spielberg knows. He rubs elbows with big shots, and he knows things.
Yeah.
And he's
Sure
been
he
coming
does.
out with stuff a long time ago.
Hmm.
We talked about Epstein cult. We don't want to get into that too much, but the Spielberg new movie, and you predicted that many leaders will be removed in 2026. Betsy,
Already it's happening.
could you tell us what leaders that we can look at that might be
Well, I still
removed?
think that with what happened with, let's see, who I want to talk. I think Iran, um, that leader is going to be taken out somehow. I
Yeah,
don't know if he's going to be killed. And Maduro in Venezuela, I still think that Maria Corina Machado is going to be the next leader of Venezuela. It may take a little time for her to get in there, and I don't know why, Trump is against her being there, but maybe there's a reason, like you said, that he's waiting for the right time for her to be the next leader. But
she's
she will
she's
be a
the
great leader. She
yeah,
will.
she's the Nobel Prize winner, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and took it away from Trump. When he- and
Well,
she
she gave
tried to,
it to him.
yeah, she gave it, but that doesn't mean anything.
No,
You
it
know,
doesn't mean a
the
thing.
the uh
No.
the group in England, I guess that's where they're from, the Nobel Prize
Hmm.
people. They say she can't give it away. She can't give
No,
it to
she
Trump.
can't.
It's not. It can't be accepted that way. Then you talk about year 2026 uncovering corruption in politics and toppling of the leaders worldwide.
Hmm.
When did you write this? Because that sounds like a prophecy that's coming true today, Betsy.
I know. Well, the book, which is kind of weird. Listen to this. I had a hard time with Amazon. They put a block on my book. It was supposed to come out December 28th, and it shows that it was published finally. But they put a block on it because they didn't like the stuff I had in there.
Really? What
Yeah.
was? Did they mention anything that the?
No, they wouldn't tell me what it was. I kept asking me, why are you blocking me? What did I do? And I kept getting these stupid emails from them. And I finally said, I'm going to sue you if you don't tell me what's going on. And then all of a sudden, I was able to get it published.
Wow.
So I don't know what was going on with that.
I There's been a lot of media control of a lot of things,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of UFO books and things of that nature they get shadow banned, and
Hmm.
even on the platforms, they
Yeah.
cut you back, shadow ban, and the books, UFO books, you don't get rich writing those. I know.
No,
I
you
got
joke.
I got a book that's been out there
No.
a little over 3 years. It's still selling, just dribbles now after 3 years. I
Oh, well,
expect
that's
that.
good.
Yeah, it's still, I still get sales of 5 or 6 books a month or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's not bad for an old book, and it's still going.
No, it's
So,
not. Good for you.
but the books don't UFO books or anything about UFOs, and you don't make a lot of money. You don't get rich.
No,
You've written over 30 books that compiles into some payback. But
it
look,
does a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
yeah, but look at all the money you got to put into that too. That's another thing people don't understand. But
Yeah.
that's
Well, I'm
why,
self-published and I know about these fraud,
yeah,
Author House and some of these
yeah,
self-publishing idiots out there. They take you up for all this money.
yeah,
And then when you start finding errors in there and they tell you, well, they have to fix it and they charge you so much to get the errors fixed. And then there's more errors in it. That's
yeah,
how they work.
yeah,
They're really scammers. You got
yeah.
to watch out for them.
That's what I said earlier, and I've
Yeah.
been through that myself. But
Yeah. They're
uh,
horrible.
I'm going to have a promo out before long, and I'm also
Oh,
going to
congratulations.
my next book will be short stories because a lot of people don't like
Oh,
long reads.
that's
I
true.
think short stories are going to be the thing. So I'm going to
Hmm.
have a book of short stories, and these are all like a bio, like a something that's
True
happened to me.
stories?
Yes, true
Oh,
stories
oh,
from my
cool.
ledger. I keep a ledger,
Hmm.
and the last ledger I put in was just the last week from this angel person that was strange. So
Awesome.
yeah, but I want to get back into prophecies. You wrote this book before, I think some of the stuff even started happening. So there is some
Yeah,
prophecy here, uncovering corruption. Now they're slow about doing that. Why do you
I
think
know.
that is, Betsy? Why do you think?
Oh, jeez. It's the Democrats. They're going to do anything they can to stop Trump from doing anything. And you already see it. They already tried to stop him from building that ballroom, that
Yeah,
beautiful ballroom. And now there's just a hole there that
yeah,
some stupid federal judge, lower judge, put a halt to it. Anything he does, they're trying to stop him, suing him right and left for things. I mean, it's crazy. And
yeah.
if they don't stop, it's just going to ruin our country. It is.
It is. I think he's doing a lot of right, but right now I think that there's certain things he's not doing. I'm
Yeah,
not particularly fond of Pam Bondi in the DOJ. She
I'm not
has
either. I
she has
agree.
zero arrest record in the past
I
year,
know. What is
and
she doing?
she's arresting drug members.
Hmm.
The low hanging fruit. She's
Right.
not going after the
Right.
real corruption that's really causing this country to go
You're
backwards.
right.
Of course, the drug cartel and stuff needs to be stopped to save people.
Hmm.
Uh, can you tell us now? We're coming up to an hour, so could you tell us now, Betsy, what are some of the prophecies you might think that's going to happen this year?
Okay. Well, let me look at my book here. Here's my book for people that you can see it if I can get it over here. It's not going to show up,
Yeah,
looks like. No, it's not going to show up for
yeah,
some.
I
Well,
see
there's
the
part of
top
it.
mystic prophecy. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't see it.
I will put it in the narrative.
Well, look at some of these things. I predict so many things.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, for the Swifties out there, Taylor Swift, she's going to become a little homemaker and recently discovered sourdough bread making. And I have a feeling that she's going to get pregnant. And when she does, it'll be called the Swiftie generation. All these younger girls, nobody wants to get pregnant anymore.
yeah,
But I have a feeling there are going to be a lot of girls getting pregnant because she gets pregnant that follow her. So,
yeah. She's getting up in age. She's in her late 30s.
yeah, she better do it.
She's gonna have to hurry up.
Yeah,
and,
she better. But I
and
think she will.
what's going to happen to President Trump, Betsy? Have you got anything on him this year?
Yeah, I had a dream that it was so lucid. I was at the White House and I think it might have been summer because I didn't see snow or anything. Melania was standing next to Trump and I could see him perspiring. Could tell he wasn't feeling right. And all of a sudden he clutches his heart
Oh
and he
my.
goes down. And I've had this feeling that something's going to happen. It's kind of weird today. He told everybody that he feels younger than ever,
Yeah.
that he's Benjamin Button and he's
Yeah.
getting younger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not taking care of himself. He's overweight. He doesn't eat right. He shouldn't be eating all those McDonald's. And I
Yeah.
don't know what he's drinking. I think some diet soda,
Yeah.
but it's not good,
Yeah.
and it's going to happen. He doesn't sleep much, maybe 4 hours a
Right.
night, if that. You can't keep up with that pace. You really can't. and
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think he's gonna die. I just want people to know that he's not gonna
Yeah.
die. But I think JD is gonna have to take over for a little while he recovers.
Yeah. And well, JD'd be a good a choice, but wouldn't a lot of people be happy about that? That'd be sinister, but
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
people would be happy
Oh,
about that.
sure. Of
It's
course.
so amazingly crazy nowadays that criminals are uplifted and the victims are
I
stepped on.
know.
Yeah,
I know.
it's strange.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's you're a hero if you murder somebody,
yeah.
like a health, you know,
Will Trump finish out?
CEO,
Will Trump finish out his?
insurance.
Betsy, will Trump finish out his term, uh, either through his health or through the Democrats impeaching him?
No,
What
he won't
comes
be
first?
impeached. He won't be impeached. I said that before, when they tried to impeach him when he was president in 2016. I said he was going to not get indicted, he wasn't going to get impeached, on and on. I knew that wasn't going to happen because God saved him, I believe. He had guardian angels or whatever. He's been saved, and that's why he's here. He has a mission to fulfill, and
Yeah,
that's what he's
yeah,
here for.
I think so too. And I wish a lot of
Yeah.
people would just let him do what he's going to do and what he's
Hmm.
been doing.
Yeah.
Grocery prices need to come down. I admit that. Gasoline
Yes,
prices have
yes.
come down. Uh, but I think if the Democrats win back the House and the Senate, the first thing
Not
on their
good.
agenda is impeachment.
Impeachment. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this time, if they have majority in both houses, I think they'll get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm afraid for that.
Yeah.
That's going to be scary and could be a
Yeah.
scary time for all of us, really.
I
Uh,
think so too. I hope not, but
yeah, I do too. I just hope for continuity of this country. I wish the Democrats and the Republicans can get along. I remember I used to be in that party, Democrat
yeah.
Party, did a lot of work for them, and I appreciated that party because they were mainly labor focused, but now they're not.
Yeah.
There's something that just happened to them that in the past 10 years
Mm,
that's not the same, and I wish they would go back to being the old, John F. Kennedy Democrats. That's what I wish they'd go
oh,
back to
me
being.
too.
Yeah,
Oh, I know.
I miss that. I
Yeah.
miss the being able to talk between the two of them, the Republicans and Democrats,
Yeah.
negotiating things in the House, talking together, crossing the aisle. And, that's the old Democrats. That's not the new
Right.
ones anymore. And the
No.
Republicans, we have some Republicans that are rhinos too that
Oh, I
actually
know.
vote against Trump sometimes.
They
And
do.
so we're not united at all in our focus. And that
No.
means people need to be more enlightened
Yeah.
and they need to read books like yours, Mystic Prophecy, Revelations to Awaken Humanity.
Hmm.
We need more enlightenment and people to know the truth. And we're not going to get the truth from the media, that's for
No.
sure.
No, they
I don't,
lie.
yeah, I don't care what channel you go to.
Well, I
You go
like
to,
Fox a little better, but they have their own issues too.
yeah,
So,
but they only skim the surface. Do you know there's
exactly.
things going on in LA right now we don't hear about? There's
I
things
know.
going on in Minnesota we don't know about.
Oh, I
They're
know.
keeping a lot from us. And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's more writing. And what do
And
you
they're
think?
for that. The Democrats want everybody to riot.
Yeah,
They're for all these criminals and drug dealers and everything. Who would want that for America?
right,
Who? Except
right.
them. Or maybe they're controlled by
Yeah,
aliens. I don't know.
right.
Maybe they're all aliens. I don't
Yeah, could be, could be.
know. They're just
Betsy,
horrible people.
last thought here.
Sure.
Betsy, tell us what's going to happen to us in the greater future of things.
Well, I hope, like LaCerta said, and I've always believed there's free will. It's up to us what happens in the future, and the future isn't fixed. We can change anything, but I just hope people will awaken. Um, I said that many of you believe that just because you can't see something, it does not exist. Many forms of life are invisible, vibrating at a higher rate than our physical world. The invisible world includes ghosts, electricity, radio waves, thought forms, cosmic radiation, microwaves, atoms, molecules, and beings from other realities. Your thoughts and your intentions are greatly amplified when you join other like-minded people. When two or more are gathered in his name, there I am with them, is the famous Bible verse, Matthew 18:20, that promises Jesus' presence and authority in small groups of believers. If billions of people awaken from their slumber, which I hope, then miracles will happen. Remember, the outer world mirrors the inner world. You are the environment. You must evolve your awareness and your value yourself, earth, other beings, and all life. We must respect all life, or, I don't know where we're headed.
Yeah.
It's not a good place. So I
Yeah.
just hope people will listen, wake
At,
up.
at my age,
And
I may not have that many years to participate or sit back and eat popcorn and watch all this. I don't want to sit back and watch popcorn. My wife gets on to me all the time when I look at the news and I said, "Oh, they're not telling the truth. I wish they would stop. You know,
yeah,
start telling the truth." But that's in
exactly.
all the media, Betsy.
Yeah.
Uh, Betsy Lewis, thank you so much for doing the
Well,
show.
thank you, Dave. It's great talking to you. I want to
Yeah,
talk to you some more about your ET experiences. They
yeah,
sound
yeah. We can
really
we can do
great.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
Sounds great.
And this hour went by real fast, and
You did?
I wanted to get into more of your book, and I think we did a synopsis here of your book and what you got in there. But the reptilian thing surprised me a lot that you knew that this much about that, and that's great because I think I've had some visitations. Oh, just to tell you, when my wife goes to the Philippines, she's going to have another grandchild coming next month.
Oh,
She's going to
wow.
be there this
Uh,
month and next month. I just took her to the airport Tuesday,
Oh,
and
wow.
she's in Seattle now with her daughter, but she's going to go from there to the Philippines. But every time she leaves, those ETs come in my house.
They
That's
know.
they know. And
They
matter of fact,
know.
I think I got a clue last night. We have a it was a bottle of oil near the stove, and it's not the olive oil. It's some other kind of healthy uh, oil, and the lid popped off of it last night, and it fell down by me. And a while ago, I heard something pop, but an hour and a half ago, I heard something pop, and I said, "What was that in the kitchen?" I went in there,
Oh,
and there was that lid again. That lid popped off. I don't know if it's gases or they're here. Let me know they're
it
here.
sounds like it.
Yeah. So look out. Oh, I got the camera going.
Well,
So
are you going to send them over here?
yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I'll see if I can film these suckers. They're
Yeah.
invisible, but
Yeah.
the infrared camera picks them up.
Yeah.
Betsy Lewis, thank you so much for doing the
Thank you, Dave.
strange reality with Dave Emmons,
Have
and
a great evening.
it's been fun. You have a great evening,
Yeah.
and we're going to tell everybody goodbye for now, and hope that they listen to this show. And I know they like you a lot, Betsy. So
Oh,
that's
well, I hope so.
that's
Some do. Some do, some don't.
yeah.
So
Well, that's
it's
the
the
way it
way with
is.
everything, right?
Yeah, with the UFO thing. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Betsy Lewis, and
Thank you.